Let's go. Welcome to the solo edition. Been super busy this summer. And man, I hate saying that. That sounds so like, hey, how you been? Oh, I've been busy, man. Busy with work, busy with this. I mean, you're really only, I don't know. Busy is such a, am I going to rant about being busy right now? Betsy and I talk about this all the time. It's so like, you fill your time up, right? You fill your time up. The goal is to fill your time up with the things that you really want to do, that fill your heart with joy. I think you should try to do that. I'm telling you what, my vibe, my vibe is high today. Last night, let me just say this. Last night, I could not sleep. It was muggy. For whatever reason, we have air conditioning in the house, but Betsy likes to live like it's Little House on the Prairie, right? No comforts. We're just going to sweat to death in bed. One time this year, I think we turned the AC on, and that's only because we didn't want CPS called on us. Anyways, it was one of those hot, like, sticky nights, and I tossed and I turned, and I tossed and I turned. I don't know exactly when I fell asleep. Do you ever know exactly when you fall asleep? Anyhow, late I fell asleep. And we had a scheduled run this morning because, for those of you that don't know, we're running a half marathon that we do every year, the North Country Trail. It's up at the Big M Trailhead. Wonderful race. Fantastic race. Absolutely love it. The vibe is awesome. The humans that run that race, that participate in that race, are the kind of people you want to be around. They're just really awesome human beings. It's a different kind of person that wants to put themselves through that kind of torture. And I'm just happy to kind of gradually be getting into that club, because the race that we're doing is the shortest of all of them. They have a half marathon, they have a 50K, they have an ultra 50-mile race that they do up there, and it goes Saturday and Sunday. And you know what? Next year, you know what I'm going to do next year? I'm going to do the 50K. That's only like, I don't know, 5 or 6 miles more than the full marathon. So what the hell, train for it, do it. What was I talking about at the beginning of this? My vibe being high, not getting any sleep. I'm trying to check on something here. I've been trying to download photos for the Run the Pier 5K for the last. This episode is brought to you by Chapo's Northside Bar, voted best burger and wings in town. Yeah, you heard that right. If you're going to go out for a burger or wings or both, you might as well go to the place that's voted the best. The best. Why wouldn't you have anything less? Look, and if you're not down for a burger or wings, that's cool. They've got salads, wraps, and sandwiches also. And this summer, it's going to get wild, because on June 24th, it kicks off their summer concert series in the parking lot. Live music, folks. And guess what? It's free. Yeah. Come down for the music, stay for the fun, enjoy the best burger and wings in town. Chapo's Northside Bar. 12 hours. What time is it? Anyways, it's been about 12 hours. It's just, I think I'm going to cancel it and start over. I don't know. We got some really great photographs from local photographer Dan Dean, teammate at Manistee Beverage, super awesome human. And Dad's got a background in photojournalism, and it really comes through in the photographs that he takes for our races and for the run club. They're just phenomenal, and I can't wait for them to post. So they're going to be up on the Run the Pier Facebook page, hopefully sometime today. You know what? I'm just going to start over. Yep, I'll leave the page. I'm going to start over and go from there. This morning we got out so that's what I was going to say. Woke up like I was having a stroke. I haven't slept with an alarm clock since I was 18 years old. As soon as I got into the Air Force, it was go, bank to 11, 1,000 RPMs all the time, and an alarm clock wasn't an option. We were just kind of like always on. and I haven't slept with one since. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I woke up shocked this morning and look at the clock. And I'm like, ah, shit. We got like literally 15 minutes to get ready and go for our run. Betsy was already up. She's a gangster, and she slept well last night, and I didn't. So anyways, I was like, I don't want to go. But again, to go back, we're training for this marathon, half marathon. You know, I'm not that awesome yet. Half marathon. And we got to get our miles in. It's a week away, less than a week away. It's this Saturday, the 26th. And, we just got to stay on course. We got to stay on track with our training. It does help. We're doing that Hal Higdon. I'm doing the marathon training just because I thought, why not do a shitload more volume, and maybe that'll make me feel better on race day. The first 2 years, I finished the race a little over 2 hours, and like last year, I was a minute slower than I was the first year I did it. That really pissed me off. My training lacked. I wasn't running nearly as much as I should have, and I was just doing marathon or half marathon training. And so I thought this year, add the volume, get that VO2 max up, get the legs used to putting on, that kind of distance again. I haven't run this much, this far since I was in the Air Force, and I'm excited. I'm in the best shape, running shape. My body hurts, but I'm in the best running shape I've been in since I was in the military, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm hoping for a good show. I want to be full send. Some of you that are listening to this are like, how come it took you so long to do a half marathon? Well, it's a trail run, and it's a son of a bitch. It's like almost 4,000 feet of elevation, and you're literally going, I feel like you're going uphill the entire time, and then you go downhill the last 150 yards. But it's up and down, but I'm making excuses. Full send. This is going to be a full send for me on Saturday. I'm just going to go for it. Anyways, back to this morning's run. We got up and got out the door. And we got on US 31 going north towards the bridge construction. And I got to say that once I got there, the first thing that came to my mind, well, let me back up a little bit. A skunk ran in front of us. And the fear is getting sprayed, right? But like when you see a skunk and you're like, oh fuck, there's a skunk. You're thinking about getting sprayed, but you're also at least for me, I'm also thinking about like how long I'm going to stink if I get sprayed. I told Betsy we'd close the store. We'd be done. They'd have to close the store, I'm not going to swim in tomato juice or tomato soup to get that cleaned up. Is that even real? Anyways, we thought at first it was I knew immediately it was a skunk. Tail up. She thought it was a cat. And then we both were like, So that got the blood pumping. We were about a mile in, and then all of a sudden that put me in the right. Let's get running. Let's get moving. I was awake at that point. So anyways, we got down onto US 31 going north. And the first thing I saw once we got past the skunk was Blossom Boulevard. Okay? The people that volunteer to do Blossom Boulevard, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It looks amazing this year. I don't know if it's because there's extra. You guys are just being extra this year. But it looks so good. The flowers are just like, they're so well weeded. There's no, I'm not a horticulturist, but to me, it looks like over the top. You guys have done a phenomenal job this year. No weeds, except for the weeds that we haven't been able to get to this year and clean up. But the Blossom Boulevard looks amazing. Maybe it has something to do with like not so much traffic down on that side, just before the bridge, because the bridge being out. But man, does it look good. So shout out to you guys for making our city look beautiful. We got to keep that going. That Blossom Boulevard, just beautiful. That's what I said. I'm like, hey, look at these flowers. Stop and smell the, I don't know what kind of flowers they are. Shit. But they're beautiful. Stop and smell. But don't stop on US 31. I mean, pull over to a side street, get out on the sidewalk, and then stop and smell. But they look amazing. So I'm glad we do that. So good job, Blossom Boulevard team, committee, volunteers. I see you. You're out there on your knees, plucking away at those weeds, making that stuff look beautiful. You're doing a great job. Beautifying our community. Also, got downtown and started running and got, almost down by Fricano's, and the lights, that the DDA put out, illuminating downtown in the dark. Looks great. Good job, guys. Appreciate it. These little things. I don't know if people, like residents here in Manistee, and I'm a lifelong resident of Manistee, or wherever you're listening to this at, if you're in a small community, big community, or whatever, sometimes you just got to stop and take in, that beauty that's around you. Now, if you're living in like a legit shithole, I'm sorry. But Manistee's beautiful. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to say is you live in a community long enough, sometimes you only see the bruises. You see the bumps. You see the nicks, the scratches, and the scars. But if you really take the time to look around, there are some really great things that are happening in Manistee. It starts with things like the Blossom Boulevard. That 25 years ago. Jesus, how old am I now? So if I did 20 years, I'd be 15. 5 years from that, I'd be 10. So anyways, 25-ish years ago, I helped plant the Blossom Boulevard. As a kid, it was one of the things that you do, when you're in school. They drag you out there and you put the flowers in. And then the volunteers ensure that these things grow and become beautiful, and they keep them weeded. So we've been doing this for a long time. And I feel really bad that it's taken over 25 years for me. I mean, every year I say, boy, I'm glad we have the Blossom Boulevard. But this morning, for some reason, I was like, man, that looks great. And I'm glad we do that. So it's little things like that. The lights down on the west end of River Street, they look great. Little things, just the outs. Manistee's looking good. Take a deep breath, people. We don't live in a shitty town. Okay? I've lived in some really rough places, and Manistee is beautiful. So, I love it. We live where people vacation. And everybody that comes up here that's a non-resident says as much. So that should tell you something. You should be proud of where you live, because this town is beautiful. And we got a lot of good things happening. Don't get me wrong. There are some things that need to be fixed, some things that need to be adjusted. But, hey, you know how you can help? You can volunteer. You can run for office, local office. There's a ton of things you can do. Just saying. Instead of sitting at home and getting on the computer and being like, oh, this is really shitty, you can go try to fix it. That would help way more than being negative. Am I right? I'm pretty sure I'm right. Where am I at? What am I going to talk about next? Let's get into, what do we got coming up? We got Labor Fest coming up. Foghat. Is it Foghat? I think it's Foghat. Foghat's like the main band that's going to be there, which is going to be rad. Proud sponsor of that. We got another Friday night, shut the street down. Let's have a block party from TJ's. That was awesome when we did it last month. This month is going to be September. September 16th is when that's happening. So, listen, and I also want to take a little bit of time here to thank everybody who has donated to the Lakeshore Children's Advocacy Center fundraiser that I put up on Facebook and on Instagram. We had a goal of $1,310. That amount came from the fact that Betsy and I are running 13.1 miles, half marathon at the North Country Trail. That was the goal, and within a little over a day, we hit it. So thank you, everybody that donated, and thank you, everybody that shared the post. That helped just as much as a donation, because got it in front of some eyes that were like, it's a great cause. I'm going to donate to that. If you don't know what the Lakeshore Children's Advocacy Center does, I mean, I don't do that great of an elevator pitch like our friend Megan does, who is kind of who's in the lead at that organization. But essentially, it's a place where you can help children and families that are dealing with physical, mental, emotional, sexual abuse. Put the word abuse after they help immensely. They help with police and investigations. They help with counseling for the child, for the family, and it's not 100% government funded. Okay, so they need to raise funds throughout the year in order to kind of keep this wagon train moving. And unfortunately, business is good, and we don't want business to be good, but because they are busy helping families and children, that means that there are things happening out there that are uncomfortable to talk about. I'm uncomfortable talking about it right now, but because they're so busy with it, they need more money, and that's why I am behind them 100%. Between them and Stamp Out Cancer, those are where my fundraising efforts go. I'm sure there are many, many organizations in Manistee, in the county, in the state, in the country that I'm sure you're passionate about, but these are where I'm most passionate currently when it comes to giving and fundraising. So, and I appreciate that you've given me the opportunity to help them raise funds. And it's because of your generous donations and your help sharing and marketing the fundraiser that I put on. So thank you so much. We're getting there, folks. I mean, I really started the whole fundraising, being vocal about fundraising when I became a small business owner. There's so much that comes in the door looking for help, and I thought, where can I champion? Where can I do the most good? And I think I've achieved a certain level of platform that helps me do that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the platform as much as I can to help raise as much money as I can for two organizations here in this community that do the most good. And I don't think they're any better than any other, but these are the ones that I can focus my energies on. And if you have organizations that you wish to fundraise for, get out there and get after it. It's hard. It's hard asking for money. Trust me, I know. I ask for money every day. I ask for money for the races we put on, the Run the Pier and the Rusty Fish, because we need sponsorship dollars, and we need volunteers, and we need donations to help get those races off the ground. And then we use those races to shine a big spotlight on organizations like Stomp Out, Advocacy Center, and soon, because of the Rusty Fish, we're going to be putting a focus on Smart Trails. So, yeah, super important. So let's talk about the Rusty Fish, hey? Well, first, let's talk about Run the Pier, because we had a phenomenal event for Run the Pier. Such a good event. Such a good event. We didn't have the participants that I thought we were going to have, because we were trending. But it just kind of, lopped off towards the end there. But, when you're in the hundreds, it's still great, right? So the turnout for the actual party, the beer tent, was amazing, and that was right about where we thought we would be for our first year of putting on this bigger event. So let's foreshadow a little bit. We're adding races. I'm getting crazy for next year. For sure, at least a 6 mile to 7 mile component. I don't think I'm going to be dead on a 10K, but it's definitely going to be much farther than a 5K. So we're going to have the 5K. We're going to have at least a 6 mile added race. That's going to be more of an adventure-ish style race. Maybe adventure is not not a good word, but it's going to be multiple terrain, and it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult than your typical like 10K, 6-7 mile race, and much more difficult than the 5K. The 5K is going to be more of that family-friendly, fun run that we've been trying to do for a number of years, and I think we've been very successful with it. But in order for this event to grow and to get more participants interested in running, and it's going to be more of a kind of a running festival. And there'll definitely be at least 3 races next year. It'll be the 5K, it'll be the 6-mile plus run, and we're also going to do like an obstacle course, fun run for kids 10 and under, where we'll have some obstacles, maybe some bounce houses they have to run through. So I think that's going to be really, really fun. And again, like what I say, we're going to make it more of like a summer festival kind of atmosphere day. We'll kind of start around the same time. There will be a beer tent. We'll have plenty of food trucks like we did. By the way, the food trucks, phenomenal job. The food trucks did a phenomenal job. They brought people to the event. So shout out to you guys. Sweet Smoke, TC Taco, Detroit Coney Dog, and Ohana Shaved Ice. I mean, you guys did fabulous. I hope they have the same lineup next year. Maybe even a couple of more, because, again, we have to be able to service everybody, and they all did a bang-up job. But we definitely want to make sure that the food trucks, have enough business as well, and that we don't, underwhelm them, because we want them to come back, and we want the event to be primo. So maybe live band next year instead of just the DJ music. I think a live band would be pretty awesome. Again, we want this to be like a big, fun festival. You don't have to participate in any of the racing events to come. It's open to the public, and again, we use the event to help fundraise for Stomp Out Cancer and the Advocacy Center, and I can't wait to get their numbers back. I know Stomp Out did the beer tent. They had a few other things going on in the event, like a 50-50 and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to see where they landed net-wise with the beer tent. I had a pretty lofty goal this year in total for all 3 organizations that we fundraised for, was to get to at least $10,000 this year. And we have until the end of October, which is kind of when we wrap up our fundraising efforts. The Rusty Fish is October 14th, so that'll kind of solidify, our fundraising drive for the year. We'll recalibrate and take a few days off after the Rusty Fish, and then come back to the table and kind of find out where all the chips landed. But I'm really positive. I really think that we're going to hit that $10,000 goal, and that would be really amazing. To be able to say that we were able to help fundraise $10,000 in total for these 3 organizations it would just make my heart sing. So the Rusty Fish, let's talk about that, since we're kind of at that point right now. October 14th is the Rusty Fish, and we are going to run this event just like we ran the Run the Pier 5K this year, where this is open to the public. It's going to be at the VFW this year. We had to move locations. We just kind of outgrew Manistee National. Manistee National had a big golf tournament coming up this year, and it wasn't going to mesh well. We're bringing hundreds of people to their golf course, and they're going to have hundreds more just golfing, and it'd be too much going on. So anyways, we moved to the VFW, and you know what? I think this is going to be a marriage made in heaven, because it all kind of works together. At first we were like, I don't know if this is going to be a good fit, but it turns out, hey, it's a great fit. It takes out the beginning part of US 31 that was always kind of a stressor and a headache for us, because early in the morning, bikes on the road, busy highway, we're not dealing with that shit anymore. This is great. A little down a hill and out, and you are on to the race course. We've added a couple more races. We still have the traditional long 100-plus mile race. We have a 33, a 66, and we also added A running marathon. Yeah, because why not? Because that's what we do. That's what No Me Racing does. We run and we bike. We bike and we run. So it's time to kind of marry those two together. And I think this year is it's a perfect opportunity to do that with the location change, because it all just kind of works out. Zach did a great job mapping out the courses this year, and he was out there one day and he was like, "Hey, you guys, I think we could do a marathon. This course right here, this part of this inner loop, is perfect for it." And I couldn't agree more. We've already had some run club members run it, and they liked it a lot. I'm looking forward to trying to get out there and on it and do it sometime in September, so stay tuned. Probably going to set up some type of run bike event, like pre-ride, pre-run. You can ride some, most, or all of the course. You can run some, most, or all of the marathon course, and check it out. And we'll have some SAG vehicles and some beverage and some food. We'll make sure that everybody is safe and enjoys the time out there for it. But yeah, we'll do that sometime in September. We'll do kind of like a little pre-run ride. So I'm going to look at my schedule. At the end of September, Zach and I and Dylan and Shannon are going to be going to the Moran 166. No, I'm not riding in it, but Dylan and I are running SAG support for Shannon and Zach. So excited for that. That's going to be up in the UP, and that's going to be a good, fun weekend. And it's going to be kind of like a little decompressor for us at NOMI before we really hammer in on the Rusty Fish. Again, so that's October 14th. You can register online on bike registration or go to our website, rustyfish100.com. And all of the courses are on the website. We have the downloadable maps, the turn by turn on the website. It's new to me, but I just downloaded it, and it's fresh and it works very well. So check that out. Like I said, all the information you need about our races and the courses, rustyfish100.com. Keep in mind, as we foreshadow for next year's racing season, both of our races are always on the second Saturday. We are on the second Saturday in August for Run the Pier next year, and the second Saturday in October for Rusty Fish every year. So August 10th is Run the Pier next year. Rusty Fish in October next year is, it looks like it's going to be October 12th. So put a little check on your calendars going forward. If you ran, if you walked, if you came to Run the Pier this year and enjoyed yourself and thought, hey, I'd like to come back, August 10th, 2024, let's go. And keep an eye out, because I am going to be as diligent as possible to get everything compiled and together and ready to go by December. So you'll start seeing marketing for Run the Pier and marketing for Rusty Fish for 2024 in December. That's the goal. That's the plan. This year for Rusty Fish, we're doing like fishing bucket hats. It's a fishing theme. And I believe flannels. I'm not in charge of the merch. So we had talked about button-up flannels, and I'm pretty sure that's happening as a race director. I should know that, but for sure I know we're getting the bucket hats. We do have a limited T-shirt for both races that we started selling at Run the Pier. It'll be available at Rusty Fish as well. It's a pretty dope little shirt. It's kind of like a thank you to all of our sponsors, because they are prominently positioned on the back of the shirt. Shout out to those sponsors too. Again, I should be going down a list here, but I don't have it in front of me. But they are on both websites, runthepier.com, rustyfish100.com, and you guys should support them. If you can support them, please do so. We can't do these races. We can't put on these events without them. We can't do it without their money. Okay, so it's a hard thing to say again when you're out asking for money, but we don't ask for small amounts either. The smallest amount that gets you on the table is $500. These races cost a lot of money to put on. Somebody's going to say, oh, 5K doesn't cost that much. You're right. We can draw a line in the sand and say go, and put a couple people out on a course and tell them to turn here and then finish here. And we can do old school, ripping tabs and, taking forever to figure out who, what position you were in and all that stuff. I'm rambling here, but, we do it right. We have a chip timing. We have a big finish. The event itself, putting on the party, getting all the tents, getting all the drinks, getting all the food, bringing the people together, putting in all the work. Yeah, it's a little different. So we ask for a little bit more. And all the money that we ask for goes to both events, all right? And it goes to support fundraising for, again, the organizations that I talked about at the beginning. So Lakeshore Children's Advocacy Center and Stomp Out Cancer and Friends of Smart Trails. Smart Trails is really awesome, too. You should check that out. I don't know if it's smartrails.com, but smartrails.com. I'm always saying that wrong. Let's look at that. Smartrails.org. That's SMARTRAILS.org. Smartrails.org. Check them out. We're talking about education, maintenance, grooming trails, growing the trail system, helping to, get that conversation out there for connecting trails throughout Michigan, let's start locally here in Manistee County, connecting to other trails in other communities and other counties to help bring, people. Connecting people through the trail system is essentially, it's really a good way to think about it, but I encourage you to go to smartrails.org because that's a super important nonprofit that's going to help build better community, help people. It really does. When we can expand these trail systems, it's not just the majority of people will look at it like it's just a place to go hiking, riding, running, but really it's more than that. It's that, but it's more than that. I mean, it's been proven that when the trail systems are open and they're more connected, it gives another way for somebody to get to a job. It's super, super important. And I'm butchering it. Okay, I'm doing a really shitty job explaining it, but trust me when I say they're awesome, and we need their support. And the fundraising starts for them through us September 1. So keep an eye out for that. Well, I don't know if I can do like a Facebook or Instagram fundraiser for them because I don't think they're quite set up for that yet, which is unfortunate. So hopefully they can get moving on that. But we'll have a donation box at Manistee Beverage. We'll have donation boxes at the Rusty Fish. And we're not asking for much. A buck or two, a little bit of change. It all adds up. Little bits turn into big bits. So we pretty much just been talking about racing and the events this morning in my skunk episode and how beautiful Manistee is. But that's okay. This is a way for me to get some thoughts out of my head. And you know what? I should really do a shout out to my man, Derek Bailey from Runner's Edge. He's our timing guy, and awesome. Already got him locked in for August 10th next year, so you can't have him for that day. But if you're looking for somebody to do timing for your races, Derek Bailey, Runner's Edge. He's been an absolute gem. I mean, such a nice guy. And he takes care of like a lot of the shit that like a race director would have to worry about. Bibs and chips and safety pins and the guy does a phenomenal job. He runs a fantastic business. It's a great value. big ballooned finish lines. I mean, he's got it all. Derek Bailey, runner's edge timing. Hit him up because he's a super good shit and a great guy. So that was my little plug for Derek. Probably going to clip that so that he could see it. He should see this. But he's a great guy, and he does a phenomenal job. So shout out to Derek. What else? I think that's it. I think I'm good. I've just been ranting this morning. It's my morning rant. But, yeah. I need some guests, too, dude. I've had to push some off. It's been a long summer. That's what I was getting at in the beginning, too. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a long summer. And I forgot that today's Monday, and I have a salesman that wants to come in and get some product. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. It's been a long summer. I love you guys. And I got to get to work. I didn't realize it was already 8:30 this morning. I'm working on me, working on this, working on everything. Big things coming. Have a kick-ass day.